Now I was noticing that when I was messing around here and cleaning off that little piece of line that was laying on the top of this part here, and like right here, I probably did as much harm as I did good. And not only that, I almost broke this off. So I'm going to just put a little tiny bit of CA on there just to reinforce that, because it doesn't look like it's hanging on there too good. Now I had wanted to move this ahead just a little bit, but I'm concerned that possibly the extra thin that I used to glue this down may have become so brittle that all I'm going to do is break it off instead of straighten it. Okay, there. I think I straightened it to, you might say, a perfect angle. And to reinforce that, I think I'll just put a little bit of CA right at the base there where there seems to be a bit of an opening. I think it's going to sort of wick its way right in there. Then maybe later I can sort of paint everything over. Here it is in slow motion. You can see that I almost broke it off. Now, as you can see, I've already put some on. I don't know if putting any more on is going to fill the gap or not. The drawings in the manual from the other ship show a line coming from here right down to here, I think just above this door. Let's check it out and see if we can find out exactly where it comes. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, but you know, if we can see where exactly it comes down here, why not? Okay, here's our place in question. Here's the door. It's not exactly as I remember seeing it on the model. I do believe there was 2 round portholes right here. Now let's assume that this was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. Okay, this bracket right here that I believe is the guy wire going up to the mast. Okay, it's at about 2 o'clock. Now let's just see, is it possible to go up and see the mast? Where on the mast does it go? Let's see if I can zoom in there. Okay, it fastens right there. That kind of makes sense. On our model, there is one of those protrusions coming out the side, so we may as well make use of that. All right, so we'll put it at the 2 o'clock position on that half circle. And I do believe, though, that I had actually seen a photograph from that area. I'm going to see if I can find it. It'll just take a few minutes here. I thought I remember seeing something like that. You can see our door on the extreme left, then we have the round porthole, then we have that square vent hole, just like the World of Warships drawing. Then we have our bracket with the guy wire going up. And look at the heavy-duty turnbuckle and everything there. This was no small deal. Yeah, I wonder if we can make something that's going to look a little bit more realistic than just gluing our easy line into a hole, which is the easy way to go. But I wonder if there's something we can't maybe put there that's going to look right. And yet, on the other hand, this is going to be hidden behind the turret, so we're not going to really see it anyway unless we look kind of straight down on it. I'll think about it. Right now I'm sitting in front of the computer and I'm looking at this picture, and there's a couple of things that have caught my eye. Well, mainly one thing. And you notice all the way along the outside there seems to be some sort of cable or something. I'm assuming this is electrical or communication cable. Also right here, you notice there's a cable running on the outside. Now, doesn't it make a lot more sense to have stuff like that on the inside behind the armor? You know, where it's protected from shrapnel and what have you? Now, that's just my thinking. I don't know. It's almost like this kind of stuff was an afterthought, and maybe some of it actually was. It could be that after they built the basic hull and everything, they came up with something and thought, now how are we going to power it? And it had to go on the outside of the ship somewhere, and so they just ran the power cable to the easiest way, and it was along the outside was the easiest way. But what do I know? I can hardly even build a plastic model battleship, let alone design and build a real one, so maybe I shouldn't do too much complaining. Oh, one more observation here. Notice the railing. Right here the railing is solid, whereas over here it's chain. Now, maybe you can't see it's chain, but I can. Yeah, interesting. Interesting to me, anyway. As I'm speaking to you here right now, it is -7 Celsius here in Winnipeg. What happened to our spring? It snowed again this morning. And I'm completely out of carrots. I put the last out yesterday. Yeah, I'm almost out of milk too, so I guess I'm gonna have to do some grocery shopping, probably tomorrow. It is 3 weeks ago today that I last went shopping, and I imagine that my car probably thinks I have lost my driver's license. When you're 73 like I am, you don't worry about all this white stuff all over the place, because you know that pretty soon your yard is going to be a sea of yellow, and all those pretty little dandelions will soon be blooming. Now, I had said that I wasn't going to do a rabbit segment in every single episode, but you know what? Maybe this doesn't really count. It could be that we have to call this a weather report. Now, notice something different here. There's no porthole right there on the Trumpeter kit, and I'm pretty sure we're looking in the exact same place. Now, how much is this turret going to block this area where we want to put a bracket? This is the 6-inch gun. It's probably going to be positioned facing back. At least that's the way it shows in the, most of them are facing back. I don't know why. I guess they'd be facing whichever way they had to shoot when there was, when they were in combat. Does a ship go into combat? Anyway, the bracket that we want to put on probably has to go right about here. Then it's going to go up at an angle. At least that's where it looks like in the photograph. I wonder, are we looking in the same place? Pretty sure we are. Now, you'll probably remember that the reason I'm putting the masking tape over the hole is so that if I accidentally drop something small, I don't lose it down into the hull of the ship and probably not be able to get it back out. I suppose maybe I could have covered these holes too, but I didn't. Anyway, what are we going to do here? I honestly don't know what I want to do here at this point. Do I drill a hole and put a little pin through, and then you have the head represent that bracket? Except it doesn't look anything like it. The other option is I could just, dip the easy line into CA and just touch it on there and then let it harden and then string it up. Or I could drill a hole and put the easy line through the hole. Okay, now if the door is 12 o'clock, or maybe more accurately 12:15 or 12:30. Then this would be 1 o'clock, and then this would be 2 o'clock right about here. And if you remember in the photograph, the bracket, or it was more like a flange, was right along the very edge of the bulkhead here. And it was just welded down onto the edge of the bulkhead, where I imagine this was probably quite thick in reality. So that would have been a good place to weld the bracket onto, and it just, I think if we just make a little hole right about here, it should look fairly realistic. Now I'm going to move the camera so that I can get in just at the right angle there and make a little countersink. Now this may not be exactly 2 o'clock. It might be more like 1:30. But if I have the hole too far this way, the line might rub against this edge of the deck the way it's shaped here. And I do want to remember when I drill the hole not to try and go straight down, because I'll be going into thick plastic. So we're going to want to do it just at a bit of a about right there, I guess. Okay, now don't let it slip off. Yeah, that should work. As you can see, I'm a lot more choked down on my bit here. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Maybe I have to make the hole just a little bit deeper. Try and get it in the same place. Suppose I should have the macro lens on for you. Well, if that doesn't work, nothing will. Okay, let's not have another disaster here. Go very easy, Ron. Having trouble seeing it with both eyes, so I'm losing my perspective here a little bit. You have to come at more of an angle and then straighten it up later. I believe that's it. Now, very slowly. Did I go all the way through? Now, I don't know if this is going to be a good test or not, because that pin is actually a larger diameter than the bit we were just using. I don't think so. I don't think I went through. I've moved the camera out of the way and I drilled a little bit deeper. I don't know if I went all the way through. The plastic might be extremely thick right there and I didn't realize it. Yeah, it's not through. But I wonder if it's through enough. It does sort of stick there, and that's really all we need. It doesn't have to go all the way through. Maybe we could just clean this up a little bit here. I've got my stiff bristled brush here and sort of scrub that a little bit. It's kind of scratching the paint. Now, maybe a tiny bit of CA, just glue it right there. What do you think? Now I know you're zoomed in way too close to see what I did there, but I've re-angled the easy line up more of an angle the way it is going to go naturally, instead of out this way the way it was before. My fear now is that when I touch the applicator right here, it's going to, the easy line is going to stick to my applicator, and when I pull it away, it's going to come out of the hole. Now, if there was just something that I could sort of wedge in that hole to sort of jam it in place, but what have I got that's actually that small? Okay, I thought to myself, why am I making it complicated here? I must be almost all the way through, so I drilled about maybe 1/4 of a millimeter more, and the bit went all the way through. Now, if we can get this down in that hole, that is. There we go. Now I'll put about 1/2 inch of line in there, and I don't need to worry about it. It's almost at the perfect angle. Well, I'm sure you can tell I've got the super macro on, and we're going to try and come in very, very gently here. Now please remember, folks, you are looking at a hole that is so tiny that even a small straight pin won't pass through it. And the applicator is made out of the eye of a very small sewing needle. I know I got around the hole, I just want to sort of... Okay. It's not coming out of there once that cures. Now, there was something I was noticing a few minutes ago about this easy line, and that is that in some places it's not perfectly round. It's sort of kind of flat, like ribbon-like almost. Don't know if there's anything I can do about that, because I'd prefer that it was round. Now, there are 2 places that we can hook this onto. There's one right here, and there's one lower down. I think I'm going to try and hook it onto the upper one. Oh, I'm noticing that it's touching this boat right here. I don't think on the real ship that would have been allowed. Just barely, though. Let's give it another try here and stretch it out taut. Not real bad. It might be noticeable. Now, I have honestly not tried this yet. I have just made this special clamp up, and I just CA'd a couple of toothpicks onto or a toothpick cut in half, and you can see what I've done here. And the idea is, oops, gotta be careful here. The idea is I want to be able to have a little clamp that will sort of go one part on each side of the mast. Now, is that going to let go and break off? Well, it kind of hangs down, and I don't want it to hang down. My thinking was that if I could get a hold of this easy line and pinch it between, just above that protrusion where I want to... I can't talk and work at the same time. Now, something like this, only I want it to be maybe a little tighter than that. Now, what happens if I let go? Okay, now if I could... it's way too loose. Well, you can see what I'm trying to do here, and then... Where's my applicator? Then when I get the easy line in exactly the right place over top of this part, then just touch the CA onto the end of it and hope that it doesn't wick its way all the way, and glue my special clamp to the mast. I'm going to think of something here. I'm going to have to think of a way to hold this up more, I think. Alright. I think that's it for today's episode, folks. I know we didn't get very much done here. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.